Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
I'm Bruce.
And we're here to talk about toys.
Woo!
Bruce is the editor of at least 50% of the episodes of Pegwarmers. He's kind of the special sauce to the show. He adds in all the funny little meme things and cutaways and just really does a lot to kind of make the show have its overall feel. Thanks for coming on, Bruce.
Thanks for having me. This was all prompted by my parents cleaning out their house and wanting me to grab all my stuff. And so this is long lost collections and toys that I just haven't seen in forever.
This is like a toy collector's kind of dream where you get to reclaim the old stuff. And it's such an interesting mix because you have a lot of well-loved toys here, but we also have some stuff up on the shelves and things that are new in the package, which I can't wait to, kind of dig into all of that a little bit. So for the news segment today, Pegwarmers is actually going to be going on hiatus for about a month. We're going to be retooling and trying to streamline the production a little bit more. The episodes take a lot of time to film, edit, and get released. So we might be looking at some different formats for the episodes, but the show's not going away, and we'll have a lot of the same guests on and things like that. So definitely stay tuned, and we'll be, pushing out announcements on social media when we're getting ready to relaunch. All right, so today's episode, as we said, is from the depths of the collection, a segment we do sometimes when someone finds something in the back of a closet or whatever, and this is Bruce's parents' attic.
This is the back of the closet, the bottom of the basement, the back of the attic, the depths of everything.
So is everything here from your childhood? Like, how many people's, do you have siblings that some of this stuff would have belonged to? Like, what range of, age range of people do you think this stuff came from?
So a bunch of the Power Rangers stuff was split between me and my two younger sisters.
Okay.
And we're each 3 years apart. So 3 years and then 3 years.
Okay.
The Turtles, I forget whose was whose, but we each got a turtle. And then my mom had a fourth one that I guess she just gave for us to share.
Okay.
But then most of the rest of the stuff is all mine.
Okay.
And especially if I think I was the only one in the family that didn't mark my toys because I was the only one that played with Ghostbusters and Batman. If you were to look at all my sisters' Barbies or action figures or stuff, you always see either a D or an L on the bottom of the foot to just make sure that they knew that it was theirs.
Just like in Toy Story. Yeah, no, I have some Star Wars figures in my collection, vintage Kenner Star Wars figures, that aren't necessarily mint, but I would never get rid of them because they have like a nail polish or some sort of paint mark on the bottom of their feet. They weren't mine, but I bought several of them as a kid from one place. And I remember that, flipping them over and seeing the red marks on their feet and being like, oh, the same person must have owned these. And so now when I see them in my collection, it just kind of reminds me of these are some of the first Star Wars figures I ever collected. So that stuff, if you're trying to have a pristine collection, is not ideal.
Yeah.
But if you just enjoy the story behind the toys, that kind of stuff is great.
So a lot of this stuff is well played with. As we can see, we're actually missing a bunch of fins on stuff, and we're missing the little housing for the Batmobile there.
So we've got two Batmobiles there. One is the Batman Forever Batmobile, correct?
Yep.
So this is after my toy playing time. I collected Batman stuff through Batman and Batman Returns, but I had no Batman Forever toys. And Bruce actually was showing me before we got started, this whole thing transforms between the three vehicles, which blew my mind.
Well, there's the one, I have the one, it's in a bin over there where it actually lights up and it's just a solid Batmobile. This one you can remove the front, remove the back, and then you can either snap on
the wings. That's really neat.
And you have a Batwing, or you can slide on the boat.
That's actually a really well designed toy to be able to build all three of those vehicles into one thing.
To convert on a whim. And it's just really cool. The connections are kind of not as great. You can See, it's a little floppy.
There's a little bit of slop to it, yeah.
Because I definitely converted them a whole lot. So they're good. And this is still in good working order. It's a little dusty. I think it's got a few rattling accessories inside of it.
What's in there?
It might just be like broken pieces of plastic, but I think it's like underneath the seat somehow.
And then the other one is the Batman Animated Series Batmobile. We recently took a look at the DC Collectibles version of this on the show. This one is super fun, though. They built in sort of a ridiculous escape pod to it, but it makes for a really fun gimmick for a toy.
And it even has this little ejector thing.
Oh, okay.
So this is like the seatbelt, and then it like... I think that like lets them go. Or no, there was a bat. I think it was like a bat-shaped bomb on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
And so you could fly it, and then you would hit the little button, and it would drop the bomb off the bottom.
Now I got to find a bomb for mine. I didn't know it was missing that.
Neither did I until I was like, "What does that do?"
Well, I learned something today. Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, and then it has the little extendable.
Right, the little hubcap.
Yeah.
Things for taking out someone else's tire. Very cool. Staying in that Batman animated vein, you have a couple of these mini sets here still in the package. These are really cool.
I think these were supposed to go with... See, my mom not only... So she would get duplicates of everything because I was a really rough child with my toys. So if I broke it, she made sure I had a backup to give to me afterwards, just as a safety measure. But I think other times the reason there's so much stuff still in package was because she'd also see something really cool she wanted to get for me, or something that went with something else. Because I think maybe I had one of these play sets or something like that, but she'd get it being like, this will be a great birthday present. This will be a great Christmas present. It'll go with some of his other toys, and then just forget about it.
Yeah, my mom did that occasionally.
Yeah. So I think these are one of those things where here's the Batmobile collection. It has 3 mini Batmobiles, one from Batman Forever, which we have there. The original Michael Keaton Batmobile.
89.
And then the animated series Batmobile.
Nice. Yeah, so the micro vehicles were really popular. I mean, Micro Machines in the late 80s kicked it off, and a lot of toy companies tried either licensing other properties to make micro vehicles, or if a toy company owned their own property, they would make their own micro vehicles. Yeah. So you saw, Batman micro things made by Ertl when the first movie came out. There was little Mighty Max type toys that also would use these kind of sets.
I had a couple of the Mighty Max figure stuff.
And Ninja Turtles had Mighty Max style sets, and X-Men and Power Rangers. So those are just neat because the little mini figures are so hard to track down. And you've got like a whole set of Batman and Robin like minifigures.
These are from The Adventures of Batman and Robin. We got Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Clayface, the Mad Hatter. So you got the whole villain hero set there. And then this one I just think is really funny because it's Lex Luthor and Superman and even Lois Lane, but they have these like mech suits. And it's kind of like the question, why would Superman need a vehicle or anything like that? Right. But why would he also need a mech suit?
Lex mech makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a hard statement to say. Superman's maybe not so much unless he's got to like shield himself from kryptonite for the fight. Which seems to always be the excuse why Superman has a vehicle. Well,
and then I can't imagine a lot of playability with Lois Lane unless you're going like Superman saying, like Lex Luthor.
Lex gonna stomp on her.
Yeah. I'll save you with my mech instead of my superpowers.
It's good to see representation of those characters though too, because a lot of times with toy lines, the female characters just don't get made, and then it's part of the whole storytelling thing for kids to act out the full story. Yeah. You need that other supporting cast. So it's kind of fun to
make the whole story.
Yeah, that they would actually release that.
Yeah.
So up front, then I see that we have some real Ghostbusters figures. That
was my jam. I was envious when I saw your video about your estate sale and you had the Ghostbusters
Firehouse,
because I had that one. And I think that was one of the few that my mom didn't get a duplicate of.
Okay.
Because it was just so huge.
Yeah.
But that ended up breaking too. A whole bunch. But we have nice little floppy Egon here. He was well played with.
I have an Egon in that exact same condition.
And then we have a not so floppy Egon behind him. I didn't have a Winston figure that wasn't this one, but this is like I'm not sure if he works correctly anymore. Oh,
That's the fright feature one. He should scream, but it
looks like the spring is kind of
worn out. Yeah.
But he's got like the little scary open mouth guy. So I think that's the only Winston I had. Or maybe I had a regular one. I just don't know where it is.
It's impressive you have one working backpack.
One working backpack. Well, the funny thing about that is there were a couple where I thought that the stream coming out was a nice little novelty to be able to get the ghosts, but a lot of the times it was just annoying because you'd knock it over. You can't fit
them in the car or in the house with the backpack on.
Yeah. So I thought that was annoying. So there's a couple proton packs that I would just snap or cut that off.
I cut it off mine as a kid. And
that would be that. So I'm surprised that this still has it in there. I don't know where the rest of the proton packs are. But the thing is, along with my mom getting duplicates of stuff, she would also and this was before the days of email.
Yeah.
She would mail away to Hasbro and different toy companies being like, hey, and I think she told me specifically, she was like, my son always breaks these proton packs. Is there any way I can buy them in bulk? And they would literally just send her a case of proton packs. And
that's absolutely insane. And if somebody today had access to if you found that box, that would probably be one of the best items in this.
Unfortunately, I think it was when my parents moved from my original childhood house. That might have been one of the things that was accidentally left behind, which totally sucks.
Yeah. And probably the next person was like, what is this? And pitched it.
Ah, so sad. But she did say she would have a whole case of proton packs, and if I would break them, she would pull out another one from the box and hand it to me, and that would be my new proton pack for my Ghostbuster.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And then an example of mailing away, we have a puffy mailer here from Hasbro Industries Inc., 60 Delta Drive, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Where I think this was the one from the Superman car that would switch behind. It had the two slots, one for Superman, one for Clark Kent.
Right.
So I don't know if I broke my Clark Kent or I lost them, but my mom mailed away to Hasbro to get a new Clark Kent.
And there he is in the little box. They would have glued that into the package, into the larger box, so you could see Clark inside. And they just shoved it in a padded envelope and sent it to you.
So sans box, they just sent the bubble with a Clark Kent figure there. And
that's pretty awesome, though.
And it's funny because when we were cleaning out their house, I found the box for the car, but couldn't find the car. So I don't know if my mom had already donated it or if it broke and she tossed it.
Right.
But unfortunately, the car is long gone, but I still have this nice, pristine Clark Kent figure.
I love it. That's really cool. Some of the other things I thought were really funny that you had over here is some sealed VHS.
Yes.
And VHS has come back into vogue, and we're seeing companies grade VHS tapes like they grade comic book stuff. So it's really pretty funny that you have some sealed ones here. Mm-hmm. You have the Iron Giant.
Which comes with that little
Iron Giant
figure.
Which is pretty great. It looks like this was $13.49. It's got an orange tag on the back, so maybe it was on sale. I do like those little pack-in things. I had a copy of The Indian in the Cupboard that came with the little Indian.
Yes, I remember that. I think we had that, and I opened it, and then I lost the toy.
Yeah, it came with a little key, too. You've got Ghostbusters.
So Ghostbusters is actually my #1 favorite film of all time.
Makes sense.
That's why we had a lot of Ghostbusters stuff. I've had several different versions of that VHS, so I think that was a backup in case I wore out my original VHS, and now I have all the DVDs and Blu-rays and whatnot for the new movies.
$8.99 at BJ's.
That's right.
It was a good value there. And then the 66 Batman movie.
That is my mom's favorite Batman movie.
Gotcha.
She loves Adam West.
We got a Megazord leg here.
Yeah, that is one of the toys that I shared with my sisters, and I'm not sure why that's the only one that survived. But I also used to have the original Voltron, which my mom ended up selling at a yard sale.
Okay.
Which is sad, but I don't think at the time I knew anything about toy collecting, anything
right.
So I was upset, but then she told me, she was like, you don't play with it that much anymore. And I was like, okay. And then I recently found, and I forgot to bring it with me, the one figure, and I think he operated one of the legs. Okay. But he had like glasses. He was the shorter,
Pidge,
nerdier character. Yeah. And I found him amongst.
Now, did the Voltron you had the opening cockpit so you could put the guys in? Okay, so that's the panache place. It's so bizarre how Voltron was licensed. There were multiple companies making Voltrons at the time. The one that you could actually put guys in, then there were some die-cast metal ones. I had a die-cast one, and I always had trouble taking it apart. I was like 5 years old, and a friend suggested if I drop it, it would just come apart.
Oh, no.
So I did it, and it came apart. I was like, this is great. And I did it a second time, and a couple pieces on it broke, and then I didn't want it anymore, and I sold it at a yard sale because one of the little horns on Yellow Lion snapped off, and something else small. I forget what else it was, but I was just like, oh, I don't care about this anymore.
Yeah, but that I don't know why that's the only surviving Megazord one, but we had that, the original Megazord, and then we also had the one from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, with all the new ones. And I recently found the Pink Rangers Zord, the one that made the head.
Right.
But I couldn't find any of the other ones. So I'm just finding like piecemeal different Zords.
Yeah, I saw we have a movie edition Tommy here.
With the flip head.
Flip head White Ranger. It's morphin' time! And then we've got the standard Red Ranger there. The flip heads it was a really good gimmick. It wasn't created for this line. It's been around for a while, but it is so satisfying as a kid to be able to change from civilian to superhero like that.
Well, it's also really neat because it has more action than just making a removable helmet.
Yes.
So it's just like, there it is.
It doesn't work quite as good for Tommy because he always has to have the shield that snaps on over top of it.
Yep.
But for the regular Rangers, it's fantastic.
And they have some nice articulation, and they got the little gun holsters there, which I have no idea where the guns went.
I've been working on tracking down the alternate versions of Red, Yellow, and Black. The three Rangers that left for the peace conference and then got replaced. The flip heads for Rocky, Adam, and Aisha were far less numerous in production, so they're a lot harder to track down.
I think that was around the time that I stopped watching Power Rangers.
It was one of the factors that hurt my interest in it. I kept watching, but it took the show down a peg because Jason was like my favorite Ranger. So when he was gone, it was like, oh. And then Rocky never replaced him. They didn't even try to make him the leader. It just shifted to Tommy. And I always liked Tommy, but it just wasn't quite the same.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And we've got a Batman playset here. It's Wayne Manor on one side. It's got the Batcave inside, and then like a industrial complex on the back.
Yeah, I don't know if we have enough room to open it up, but it's got like breakaway windows on the top, so when it's opened up, you can actually have Batman like break through the skylight and like fly in, and they're just like on hinges, which because they don't snap in correctly, sometimes it's hard to actually close the playset without catching.
Yeah, they'll fall down. This was released a couple different times. They kept changing kind of the paint of it. So like this one is the tan version on the front. There's one that has sort of a gray Wayne Manor to it. It's such a good playset, and since they just kept cranking out Batman movies, and there's always a reason to sell a Batcave, it just made sense that they just kept kind of refreshing it and re-releasing it.
Well, in the same vein as the Superman car, where it would be like a regular car and you would have your Superman figure in the Superman version. So you'd pull it back, the wings would open up, and he would turn into Superman. There's this little like
device
that spins around. Turtle fell over.
We can get a cutaway of it. Yeah. But it rotates, so you put your Bruce Wayne in, and you've already hidden Batman inside
on the other side. And so you can turn him into Batman.
Right.
And it was a really cool feature, and I would put Batman in there. The problem was it was really easy to get figures stuck in there, especially if you put the wrong Batman in there, like the ones that would pop up, which I think we have one.
It's right here.
There it is.
This is one of my favorite gimmicks. I love this. I talked about it in one of the other episodes where the wings pop out. It's so satisfying. It's like the transformation thing, but it just is it's not necessarily the best Batman for playing Batman adventures, but when you need him to come in and swoop in to save somebody.
But I think I tried to put him in here once, and
if the arms pop up, then he's stuck.
And then he's stuck, and you have to. Because I think when I found this, I just sort of put it near the door to make sure that I took it with me.
Okay.
After we were done helping to clean that one day. And my nephew started playing with it. And I think he put one of his Paw Patrol figures in there and then turned it around. And he just goes, I think I got my toy stuck in your toy. And so I had to like open it up and fidget with it and like get fingers in there to make sure that I could get him in the right position to turn it back around. But
we had gotten a PJ mask for my stepsons, a little thing that would transform them from the kid to the superhero. And that was the same kind of thing. The little clip that would hold the heroes in it had an up and down feature. So the one guy would go in and the door would flip around, but the hero would pop out of like an elevator on the top. And so the force of the popping would sometimes make the kid version come out of the little clip and fall into the elevator track. And now you couldn't push it back down and you couldn't flip the door. We found it was such a cool gimmick. Like the kids were blown away by it, but very frustrating for them to do. It was always like, Kevin, can you put the guys in it? And then they would do it once and then go play and then they'd come back. Can you put the guys back in it? Like it just was too hard for them to get it to work consistently. But
the troubleshooting aspect of
that transformation, if you can find a good transformation, whether it's the head flipper, secret door, whatever, for a toy line, it really is like a magical thing for kids.
Plus it also sells more toys because you have to have a second Batman or a second Superman or a Clark Kent figure to be able to switch it to that. And I think the advantage of the Superman one was the Clark Kent figure came with the Superman car, and then you had to get your own Superman. I don't think this playset came with a Batman, or if it did, I lost him a long time ago.
Yeah. With it being released multiple times, I'm not even sure what came in different versions of it. But yeah, I always like the transforming aspect on a lot of toys. Speaking
of transforming, we got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that turn into actual turtles there.
We do. That's from the Mutations line. So there's a Donatello, and Raph is in his like baby turtle form there. Just another gimmick they wanted to build into the Turtles to try and resell you those main characters. You know, year after year, they have to keep the core characters on the shelves, so you're always looking for something new to do. You actually have, we have an original Donatello here.
With a squishy head.
He's a soft head. There's a wacky action Michelangelo there who has a wind-up arm. It's not working real great, I think, when we tried it.
It's also a weird placement for the wind. Like, I wish it was on the back.
It is a tough spot to wind it up.
You have to lift his arm to be able to actually wind it.
There it goes. Kind of works.
I have to manually turn it. To do it, because I'm not sure whatever mechanism in there is
not quite there.
Ancient.
And then you've got a storage shell turtle. I think that's a Raphael over there with the red belt. He's gonna stand and just lay him down. That's a storage shell turtle. So is that Mikey or is it Raph?
That's Mike.
Okay, so that opens up and you can store weapons inside his back. And then eventually,
unfortunately, there's no weapons in there. No weapons.
And then we got to the mutation turtle. So they just are always coming up with a new gimmick to keep those characters on shelves. One, for new fans, but two, to try and sell you that second one. So in like Bruce's case, where something breaks, Mom can at least still find you one. It's never as good. We kind of talked about the fright features. It's like, oh, it's neat that he screams, but I kind of wish I could get like the original version.
Original Winston.
And the Turtles were kind of the same way. You know, the different features were sometimes fun, sometimes not fun, sometimes pretty acceptable replacement, and other times they were just kind of weird. The transforming Turtles did kind of go on. They started doing more and more where they would like turn into vehicles and things like that, which was very bizarre and way after my time in Ninja Turtles. But also transforming, you have Rock-On, a rock formation character from He-Man. This might be Rock-On or Stone-Dar. I always get the two of them confused. But he's a Comet Warrior, and he can turn into a rock. An interesting gimmick.
Yeah.
To say it's a pet rock and action figure all in one.
I'm not sure how you would, I guess... He can't hold weapon. Oh, wait, he has...
Yeah, so his gun can plug into his hand or into his chest. But he only comes with one accessory. If you plug it into his chest, he can still transform and hide it. So he can kind of like keep all his stuff inside. Which the Transformers didn't do well. Most of the Transformers, you lose the guns because when you put them into car mode, there was nowhere to store the weapons. You also have Ultra Magnus down there, the white version of Optimus Prime.
Which for the longest time, until you told me today, I thought this was just Optimus Prime, and for some reason he was white.
Right. So the weird thing with Transformers is that it was a toy line in another country, then brought here. So some of the gimmicks or concepts that they had didn't necessarily transfer over. So Optimus Prime was called Convoy in the original toy line, and then this was like Super Convoy or something like that. I might have my terms wrong, but they did like a deluxe version. He came with the car carrier trailer. And the car carrier trailer became like almost like a mech suit for that figure. But in America, since we already had Prime and they were looking for new characters, they called him Ultra Magnus in that bigger form. So yeah, if you have a vintage Ultra Magnus, he has a white Prime inside of him, which is a little bit strange.
Looks like one of his smokestacks got broken at some point.
Is broken.
And this won't stand up straight.
Okay.
Oh, wait, there we go.
And then, of course, the fists are missing again. Like these are the accessories that always just go lost on these kind of figures.
Because I think you could take the fists off and you could put other things in there.
Well, they sort of become like the headlights when he's a truck, too.
Oh,
so you have
to
to take them off when he's in truck mode.
And then you have no place to put the...
Yeah, they kind of fit inside the chest with the head, but...
This opens up, but...
Yeah, it just doesn't...
I always thought that was because, like, to put... Because it has almost like little seats here. I thought it was for like minifigures to go in.
I'm not sure if the Japanese version came with minifigures or not, but a lot of those early Transformers did have little like the original Prime had like a little seat in the. There's like a little pod on the back of his trailer when you open it up into the little base, and it definitely looks like a figure could fit in there. But again, it's those weird things that kind of were lost in translation from one toy company's concept of a toy to the Americanized version. But yeah, those are all really cool. We have a lot of Ninja Turtles here. We mentioned a few of them already, but I did want to point out you have Krang's android body.
Without Krang.
Without Krang. This is actually a pretty tough piece to get, and you do have the front shield piece. There is a little forked antenna that's often missing and is missing in this case.
That was easy to break off.
Yeah, but he's very cool.
Also, I don't know why they made those shoulder pads removable. Because I feel like if you did, you'd just lose them. I
wonder if it was just either a way to save a paint application because it can mold it in a different color, or if it just somehow got out of the mold easier. But yeah, this one, the shoulder strap is like coming a little loose there. But overall, it's in pretty nice shape. And the Krang's not terrible to find. There's actually two different Krangs in this scale. The one that came with the little bubble walker has like little blue veins on them. The one with the Krang body did not come with those veins painted. So this one actually would be a sort of a plain one. It's not as interesting looking without the veins, but it's more valuable because you had to buy the full body to get it. But I, for years, just had the Bubble Walker one with the blue veins displayed in mine until I found one for this guy because, you know, he's too cool not to show off.
Yeah.
It looks like you were into hockey a little bit as a kid. We have a starting lineup, which I talked about in an episode with, I think the mini comics episode, we talked about them. So we got Hextall here from the Flyers.
Yeah, we had that, and then I also found a Christy Yamaguchi figure, which I did not bring with me because that's my mom.
They did like the Olympians. Yeah. So it's neat because he has clearly a removable helmet, but he also has the stick. But this was kind of what we were talking about in that episode about they were very pre-posed. Like, there's nothing you can do with Hextall except for save.
He's blocking that way, and there's no other way he can do it.
So they're nice looking, and I understand why sports people were into collecting them, but as a kid, they weren't really fun. Yeah. You couldn't really play with them.
So that's why I had the Mighty Ducks figures.
Which the Mighty Ducks, what a strange concept of like we have a real team named this, but we have a kids movie that isn't really connected to there being a professional team.
Which is funny because in the movie, or what I think in Mighty Ducks 3, the one where they go to college, they actually make mention, Charlie, like the main kid, I guess,
right,
mentions that the Anaheim Mighty Ducks were named after the Mighty Ducks in the movie, which is completely not true.
Right.
But he says to a girl, like, Mighty Ducks, they named a pro team after us. And I'm just like, that's not true, but okay.
And then they did a Ninja Turtles ripoff anthropomorphized cartoon where the Anaheim Mighty Ducks are actually ducks.
They were actual ducks that played hockey, but then when they're not playing hockey, they fought crime.
In their hockey uniforms.
In their hockey gear. Because he's got like goalie. I guess he was the goalie, but he's got these removable pads that also have some sort of like wiring on the side. And
it looks like he could shoot a missile out of his one arm.
Yeah, that. And then I don't know where his firing thing, or I think the stick could either go in here or in there.
Okay.
But I have no idea where.
I remember watching the cartoon. I didn't have any of the toys, but I remember the show being entertaining, at least.
It was neat.
And you were telling me a story earlier about playing with them on an air hockey table as a kid?
So we had like a kid's air hockey. It was like a 3 or 4 in one little thing. So it was like you had air hockey, you could flip the thing and it would be like a pool table.
Okay.
And then I think it also had like a net you could put up to make it ping pong table.
Gotcha.
So it was like a 3 in one,
Yeah.
like kids sports thing. But on the air hockey thing, because it had all the hockey lines on it,
Right.
I would have my Mighty Ducks as the one team, and then the other team would either be the Ghostbusters or the Turtles, and I would actually have like games.
Yeah.
And so I would have, I don't remember what I used as a puck, but I actually like move the figures almost like I'm playing chess.
Gotcha.
But in a hockey game.
That's I can totally see that. It makes total sense. That's the kind of like kid imagination things. My sister and I used to set up like plastic army men on my aunt's ping pong table, and we would, because we were bad at ping pong itself, so we would just try and knock down the figures on the other person's side. Because basically every time it would bounce, nobody would hit it. So on your serve, you were just trying to hit the other person's army men down.
So it's like ping pong, but you're not trying to hit it back. You're trying to hit something else.
Could try and hit it. Yes, you're trying to knock over a guy as it bounced. And if you could volley, that was great. But we just were so bad at ping pong that it was rare. It was just so rare you would get the volley back. It was more fun to be trying to knock down the little army guys. We got a few other random Ninja Turtles here. I see Mutagen Man. He's a classic figure from the original line. One of the like real cult following. He's just such a weird
I remember
guy.
him being filled with some sort of liquid too.
You could pour water in him and shake him up. He had little, are there little bones in there? He does have the little yellow pieces.
So if you fill him up with water or something like that, you can...
And then you can shake them around and they float around. They just did a re-release of Muckman, and he didn't come with any of his yellow accessories. So he has a yellow gun, a yellow backpack, and these little bits that float around inside him, but they didn't re-release any of those accessories for some reason. We're not sure if they lost the mold or they just costed it out, but part of the fun is the little guts inside him.
It's like a weird, creepy snow globe.
Yep. And you got Fugitoid here. He is a robot from space. He kind of came from the comic book mostly. I don't even remember him being in the cartoon, but he might have been.
Yeah.
But he was.
Well, that's why he has the like form of a Ninja Turtles toy, but I couldn't remember him being in anything.
They came back and revisited him in the 2012 series quite a bit, made him look more like the comic book version. But Ninja Turtles is one of those brands that lasted so long that like you can only do so many stories in the sewer. So eventually they went to space and had all these, with Krang being from another dimension, it made sense to do like these space stories. And you got the Sports Leo here. Which
I'm surprised he still has his helmet.
Yeah, he's got his helmet there, which is kind of cool.
I think he also came with a football.
Yeah, I think so.
But the football has been long lost.
So his feature was that you could load the football onto his arm and he would lob it, which is kind of fun.
I think he was actually on the opposing hockey team when I would play against the Mighty Ducks, but he'd be wearing football pads instead of hockey pads.
That's close to being a goalie, you know? Yeah, man. Another one of the things that I really like on this table is this Ninja Turtle Communicator. I don't think I've ever seen this before, but it is a turtle shell, and when you flip it open, it's got the little antenna pieces like on the show, and there's a turtle code here. So did this make Morse code sounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when the batteries actually worked, you could look at the little code there, and you could do Morse code, and I think whoever had another communicator could look at that.
And they would get it too?
Yeah.
That's cool. And then it has little pictures inside. So it's got Leonardo there, and you can pull the tab up to reveal. It gives you the code to call that character too.
You could change the card of the person you're calling.
There's Donatello. Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's fun. I don't remember this thing being a toy. I mean, there was so much turtle merchandise, but that's definitely something I don't remember from my childhood at all. We've got some Darkwing Duck cereal premiums. These guys, I think, were mail-aways. They didn't come in the boxes. You'd mail away for the whole set. I had the DuckTales ones. I never had the Darkwing Duck ones. But
Darkwing Duck was such a short-lived thing. I don't remember being in it for that long. And I think those might have been the only toys that I had of Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, there was a toy line for it, but I think was only one wave.
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck just didn't stick around as long as DuckTales ran longer, so there was a lot more.
I think there's more Darkwing Duck nostalgia than there was actual fandom when it originally came out. Like,
you might be right.
Just thinking of Darkwing Duck, the theme song is already in my head. But I can't remember anything from the actual show.
Okay. So we've talked about a lot of the stuff that's on the table here. We may have missed a few things here and there, but we have some amazing stuff behind us because this is like the stuff that's still in package. This is the stuff that the collectors drool over a little bit more because it's like still in nice shape with all its accessories.
I think with the exception of the Juggernaut and that Buzz Lightyear, nothing has come out of the package because I think the Juggernaut there has like a torn package on the back.
I think the card back's removed. So the top shelf there, some of them are shapeshifters and other ones are called sneak attacks, but they're basically the same concept. They're Marvel characters that can transform into something else. So there's Wolverine, Venom, the Lizard, Spider-Man, and Juggernaut up there.
Looks like the shapeshifters are for the X-Men and the sneak attack are for the Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm not sure which line came out first. Or if they did them both at the same time, but they were both huge properties for Toy Biz. They cranked out so many figures. Down below that, we have a couple of large-scale Batman figures. Ultimate Batman from Batman Forever. He's kind of statuesque. It doesn't look like he really poses.
He does much, yeah.
Do you know if that was like a... Is it something? Is it a bank or is it just a figurine?
I think he's just a figure that you just put on your shelf, and there you go. And he comes with that little like Batman insignia on the top, which I guess is either his stand or just something that came with it.
Something else to display.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would make those kind of large-scale things, and you would press a button, and it would be slightly animatronic, or there would be a base that was a piggy bank, and sometimes they were just like giant figurines.
Yeah.
You also have a...
Action Cape Batman.
Action Cape Batman from Batman Begins, right? So that, I believe, I don't know, but I believe it's going to do the same kind of action feature here, but just on a much larger scale.
It looks
the back of the package kind of has like a little photoshopped action.
And the surprised kid.
Look at that. And it almost looks like it can flip up like a glider.
It's got like the little bones for the cape there.
Yeah. It's so funny because I barely paid attention to what toys they made for Batman Begins.
Well, I think it's really cool. I wish it would, the tumbler would be a really cool vehicle.
So I don't know if it's the tumbler on the back of that, but I had a tumbler toy that I bought at a flea market, and it had the motorcycle piece that you could pull out of the inside.
Oh, wow.
Which was kind of cool. But yeah, I remember they did, I guess really for the Dark Knight was when I noticed the toys more. I do remember there being some stuff for Batman Begins, like a kid aimed action figure line, but I just wasn't collecting it at all. So it's fun to see some of that kind of stuff. We've got
a lot of Toy Story stuff.
A lot of Toy Story stuff. So Toy Story.
See, I think a lot of the Toy Story stuff was actually just my mom's, and she was saving it. And then when we were finding it in their house, she's just like, you can take it, you can save it, you can sell it.
Yeah.
You know, because she doesn't know what to do with it now. So I was like, I'll take it.
The Buzz and Woody up there are fantastic because they're both represented in sort of the form they are in the movie. You have the floppy pull string doll for Woody, and then you've got like the rigid action figure.
Yeah, I think that might have been the backup for my sister's Woody. And then I think the Buzz Lightyear was also a backup, but they took him out and then put him back. Because as you can see, his helmet's sort of like slightly open. And I think there might be accessories not in there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I think that one actually came out of the package and my mom put him back when she stopped playing with him. But my sister had another Woody doll that she actually played with, and he got very dirty.
Okay.
And I think his, from putting his hat on and off over and over again.
Rub the paint. Yeah. I love how the Slinky dog has a big, like, Slinky style logo to it. Like, we're going to license this from you, and obviously the toy brand's like, okay, but we want our name on it because Toy Story was nothing at the time until the movie came out.
Slinky is almost as big as the Toy Story logo.
Yeah, well, because Toy Story meant nothing as a brand to the toy companies in that moment. Now Toy Story is such a huge brand because every one of the movies has been phenomenal.
Another one of the things I found, which I think I have it in a binder at home, but I found a newspaper that my mom had saved that was, I think it was a Philadelphia Inquirer or something, but it was the first full color printing in a newspaper, and it was an advertisement for Toy Story.
Oh, wow.
So she saved it.
Yeah, that's very cool. So we have a stack of carded figures here from that era.
So many figures.
We've got Rex. Does he have a special name? It's just Rex with clamping jaws and moving legs. I totally remember these being on the toy shelves. I was in like high school at the time, but I do remember seeing these guys. Who do you have there?
Buzz Lightyear, and he's got the chopping.
Oh, the karate action.
The karate action that they show in the movie, where he's got the little bricks you can chop down, and I think there's also a version of him that comes with the missile that
rocket,
Sid straps him to.
I think that one's actually in the stack somewhere. We've got the alien with turning head and rotating hands. This is before these guys were referred to as the Pizza Planet alien. Like, now they always put on it Pizza Planet alien. But that's such a great idea. They also have like a little comic strip thing on the back here showing off some of the features for the figures, which I kind of like the layout of it there, showing off that Woody has a laser and that you can use a pull string to make him fly and different features.
And we got Woody. It's weird because his hair looks really weird.
Oh, yeah.
See how there's that weird separation at the top?
I wonder if that is so the hat can kind of like clip a little bit so it doesn't just fall off all the time.
Looks like compared to that one, it looks like he's got like a receding hairline.
He's got a little bit of a 5 head going on.
Quick draw Woody, so that's the...
Yeah. Here we've got Ham with pop-up coins and auto-deposit action.
Ooh.
I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think the coins come partway out, maybe as you roll them or something. So you see them bounce up and down.
And here is the Buzz Lightyear with the big one.
The big one.
And I think he has maybe the wing. Oh, the wings.
Wings that pop out?
Yeah. Oh, no, the snap wings on. So they snap out, but they don't flip up.
They did a really nice job of merchandising that movie, but to me, like, obviously I was not collecting the toys, but I was so impressed to see those big ones that look just like that's from what Andy would have had. I thought that was such a great way
if I remember correctly, the foot of Woody actually says Andy on it. I don't know if the Buzz Lightyear doll had that.
I'm not sure, right? I remember the Andy having it, yeah. A few other carded things we have here. We have a Batman Forever, the Riddler Power Center. Oof.
I had a lot of little play sets like that. That was one that I guess my mom got for like a Christmas or birthday that she just forgot about. But I had like a couple, like a Bat Cave. I had like a Villain's Lair or something like that. And it probably what went with these minifigures here.
So this shows a Batcave playset on the back, as well as a Batman head. It doesn't say what that one opens up into. Oh, Batcave Power Center playset, Riddler Power Center playset. I don't know. I guess Power Center is like the line, not necessarily what it turns into.
Yeah.
But yeah, these like miniature playsets were super hot, and everybody was kind of cashing in on these.
Well, I think the first time I ever saw that, it was my sisters had like the Polly Pocket play sets, and then after that it was the Mighty Max.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think the Mighty Max was the first ones I had, and then it started branching out to other brands.
This stack of figures, the card backs are not in the best shape, but this kind of blows my mind.
I think it might have been prices.
I think so.
My mom likes to tear off prices because she doesn't want you to know how much she spent on toys for you.
That's what I'm thinking. Even so, the fronts are really ripped up, and a lot of the cards are kind of bent. But these are G1 Transformers, the Action Masters, still on card. So these are characters from sort of towards the middle to end of the G1 Transformers. They were action figures. They didn't actually transform. They actually made vehicles that some of these guys could ride in and stuff, which is so bizarre. But they were trying something new,
into vehicles,
trying to do something different. So this is Croc, and he comes with Gato Raider as his little sidekick buddy there, and a gun. So these are pretty impressive. These are the kind of thing where some people can't open a carded toy, but when the cards are really beat up, sometimes this is the best way to get like a perfect, complete figure, because the joints are nice and tight, the paint's perfect, and unless you're one of those people that just can't open a vintage thing, you know, you're not destroying a perfect sample. So that's pretty cool. And it's a whole stack of them here, because he's got Blaster, who is the good guy tape deck, who can't turn into a tape deck. He comes with a flight pack.
It looks like it's got retractable wings, like spring-loaded wings.
Yeah, they pop out. The little action feature built into each one of these guys. We got Bonsai Tron and Razor Sharp. So he has a little spider sidekick. And, of course, Bumblebee.
Hey.
So, I mean, these are really cool. Even it is a shame that those are ripped up, but that is really cool to see some carded Action Master figures right there. I got this big stack here. I'll move them before they fall in the middle of the video. We have a few more carded things here. Again, some of these cards are pretty beat. But if you remember,
because they were like shoved in boxes and stuff like that. I mean, and forgotten.
Your mom wasn't buying these for resale value later. She was just buying them to have extras for you guys. But this is the Invisible Woman from the silver-backed Marvel line, which was super popular. You actually have the Dr. Octopus from this line over there.
Little suction cups and grabber guys.
Little gripper hands. Yep. She came with a catapult and a little Frisbee accessory, which I'm not quite sure what the Frisbee was for, but, you know.
Is it a shield or is it a...
Maybe. Not really sure. But she has a little catapult that bounces her off. I think they repainted this for an X-Men accessory at some point during the line.
It does have an X on it.
Yes, which is odd. This one's a pretty good one to have. You've got Web Shoot Spider-Man from the Spider-Man animated series. I mean, having the core characters are always, you know,
and that looks like a parachute.
Yeah, he's got his web parachute, which is just a red parachute.
Yeah.
It doesn't really match the artwork at all, but, you know, that's cool. It shows off a ton of characters from that first wave. This was a really classic toy line in the 90s. Well made. And this is one of my favorite carded items. I saved it kind of towards the end here. This is a Batman Forever 2-pack. Guardians of Gotham City, Heroic Power in Double Dose. I just love the way that's all spelled out there. You've got
somebody had fun with that copy.
Yeah, you got Batman and Robin. There's a batarang and some sort of a weapon. I don't think it's really a gun, but who knows what it's supposed to be.
In the picture, he's holding it. It looks like a it looks like he's going to do some welding or like, I don't even know what that is.
I don't know. Is it
it's an oil
poison
can?
ivy like weed killer? Maybe. Like who knows what it is? It's very bizarre.
Was Batman Forever? Was that the one?
This is the one where they fight
ivy?
the Riddler and Two-Face though.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what the plan is for that.
Batman and Robin was poison ivy, wasn't it?
Yeah. But that's a pretty cool set for a sort of a goofy toy line.
Yeah. Well, those were goofy movies.
Very goofy.
I remember what was it in Batman and Robin when they're at the party with Poison Ivy and he pulls out the bat credit card.
Never leave home without it.
Yeah, exactly.
We have 3 Jumbo Toy Biz figures in the back here. Spider-Man, a battle-damaged Wolverine, and the Silver Surfer. That Silver Surfer with the chrome
he's fully
fantastic.
Posable, and it looks like he has a little place to put his foot
on the surfboard. That packaging really hypes up the fact that he was on the Fantastic Four show. There's little screen caps on the inside of the box from the episodes. I guess all of them kind of do. Like the Wolverine one has some, maybe it's comic panels. I'm not sure if it's from the show. But those are really cool. I remember the deluxe figures. I never had any of those jumbo guys, but they were very popular.
They come with, well, it looks like the Silver Surfer has his board. Wolverine has like knives, which is weird.
Just a weapon
he's got little knives in there, which is weird because he has retractable claws. It's kind of like Superman having a mech suit or a car. Yeah. It's like, why?
Sometimes for product value, everyone has to have an accessory. Yeah. And some characters just don't really need accessories.
And Spider-Man, it just says accessory included. Ooh. And it looks like he's got like a hanging thing.
Oh, okay.
I think you snap it onto his arm and then you can hook him and he can you can hang him. Yeah.
That's cool though. Looks like they were clearanced out at Toys R Us. Oh, yeah. Or not Toys R Us, KB, but you know, that was
KB Toys.
Classic for all the Toy Biz stuff being on.
That was the most fun thing about my mom when we were younger is that she absolutely loved to go to the toy store with us. And it was to the point where sometimes she'd take us and just out of school and do mental health days. Okay. When she just needed to get away and she would take us with her. And we'd go to the toy store and we'd get toys and just sort of hang out. So
that's awesome.
Toys R Us and KB Toys were where we went when we had our mental health days.
That's really awesome. Is there anything we missed? I think we've gotten most. I mean, there's a few things. There's a Robin Hood guy and a RoboCop, but I think we've hit most of the stuff.
Side characters. Like
I forget what Ace Duck, Ace Duck, and Genghis Khan from Ninja Turtles. Space Cadet Raph is there. Oh, we have Swamp Thing. Do you want to show off the Swamp Thing?
Oh, yeah. So I forgot that this was a Swamp Thing toy, but it's like a trap where you open his mouth and then somebody would step on the tongue and it would grab him, and that was Swamp Thing's trap. His pet trap. And then we have the one Swamp Thing where he's got like the extendo arm, so he's gonna grab you, and then you squeeze his legs to pull it back in. And then this,
I really like this one.
This one's like the melting Swamp Thing where it's like the same technology, but you pull on it and he sort of like falls apart, and then you press the button and it.
He sort of regenerates.
Yeah, pulls him back together. Though you got to find it's not like...
There's like a little notch that kind of holds him rigid.
There we go.
A fun action feature, but not really the best one to have as your primary Swamp Thing toy.
Although it's funny because he'll actually stand fairly well, or at least I had him
We had him standing for most of the episode.
There we go.
All right, so I guess the last thing we really have is you said you have a bag that you haven't looked in yet.
So this, I think, was one of my uncle's. It is a Thundercats Lion-O backpack.
I am in love with this backpack.
And
it is amazing.
I opened it up at one point when I found it, and I think at the top is like a couple Ghostbusters toys. Okay. But underneath that, I have no idea.
All right.
So I think I might clear out.
Make a little space. Yeah. It's okay if we knock some stuff over. While you're doing that, I forgot we had Charger from the GoBots, but she's got a flat tire there, so not gonna
I also
get
had
too far.
I think I also had the one of the jets from GoBots, but that got lost in the mix as well. So here we go. The
Into
line
the
open-
bag.
looks like the
Oh, it's the zipper.
zippers. Well, I think it's
stuck.
the threading is. All right, so first item is a very dirty Stay Puft.
Excellent. It's a shame they didn't make him in better scale, but he's awesome.
I don't remember what show.
Those
this
are called
is from.
Supernaturals. They have holograms in their chests.
Yeah.
Yep, very cool. This is like a quiz show for me. Can I name the line?
Looks like we got a bunch of He-Man
There's Buzz Off. Yeah.
characters,
Man at Arms.
and his head looks like it's partially falling off. We got Slimer,
Ooh, nice.
which
He doesn't really stand well.
it's like his only articulation are his arms, and then his tail
tail
sort
spins
of
around.
turns, so he can be like that, or he can be like that. So you can.
And they didn't even give him like a flat spot on his
Yeah.
belly so you could kind of like rest him on something. He just sort of wobbles over.
We got Gumby and Pokey.
Ooh, classics.
I don't think Pokey's.
They're like the bendy toys.
Yeah.
The only real way to make a Gumby toy is to make it a bendy toy.
Yeah. Well, because I think it's the closest to the claymation
Yeah.
that they originally did the.
If you put
the show.
articulation joints, it kind of breaks the...
Looks like this. Oh, his crotch broke.
Oh no, snout spout with a broken crotch. So he has like a water gun feature. You could fill his backpack
yeah, I
up.
see he's got a little button on.
Yeah, and then
on
he
the
would
back.
squirt out the water.
And there's the. I guess
Yeah,
there
the
was
fill
a plug.
point. There's
that
a little
went there.
cap. Yep.
That's funny.
Good old snout spout.
Lion-O.
Hey, he's got his claw shield. That's cool.
Action feature.
Yep. LJN. Battlematic action. That was one of their favorite features to build into stuff. The Sorceress. Now that's a nice piece to have.
Her leg does this.
So there's like a rubber band in there, and sometimes they do kind of do strange things.
Looks like she's in a. Let
me check her out here.
Interesting pose there.
So she has a little feature here. I keep bumping this mic. She has a little feature here where her wings should lock down. Maybe not. And then somehow they pop back out. And I forget how to make this do it. Maybe they both have to lock down to get it to work. But anyway, that was kind of her feature is the
Sprouting the wings.
Yep, sprout out wings. We'll mess with it, see if we can get it to work.
Oh, here we got another rock guy.
Oh, there you go. So we have Rock On and Stone Dar. I can never remember which one's which, but you got them both. Snowman of Hook Mountain. That's a Thundercat. He's got the Battlematic action
Another
also.
Action feature.
Mumra, the ever-living. There's your evil Thundercat
He's
bad
got-
guy. They loved that feature.
It's good because you can just go around.
Yep, and just pound on everybody.
Looks like we got a ghost toilet.
Yep, fearsome flush. Or,
Oh. And it's got wheels on the bottom. So.
yep, makes it do its gimmick. That's awesome. It's always a fun toy.
Oh, I remember this. This was.
Can you find the button? There he is. That's the yellow neck version of Ratlor. There's a version that has a red neck and a version with a yellow neck. I just kind of like redneck Rattler because it's funny to say. But
You got to say it with a southern twang. Redneck Rattler.
redneck Rattler.
Oh, he's missing his legs.
Okay, that's
Looks like
Tongue
that-
Lasher.
Looks like that broke. And
Does
I
this-
think. Oh, here we
Does
go.
his tongue work? There you
Does. His tongue works, but his legs do not.
They do make replacement pieces. I have yet to experiment with it, but it is something I've been wanting to try out. There's He-Man, the most
He-Man.
powerful man in the universe.
His legs don't seem that stable.
Yeah,
doesn't
the rubber
really-
bands really...
He's very, very floppy.
The rubber bands really do deteriorate on these guys over time. Is that a Robotech guy?
Maybe.
I don't know.
At first, I thought it was a Ronin Warrior, which I do have at home.
Okay.
But this is not a Ronin Warrior.
I think that might be Robotech. I'm not 100% though. This might be the first time I get stumped on one of these.
We'll have to look it up, but it seems...
Yeah, he seems to
looks
be
like
in
he's missing
pretty good
all
shape.
of the accessories.
Cyclone. That's another Masters of the Universe guy.
He is super floppy as
Super
well.
floppy. If you spin the little wheel on his belt, his torso spins around.
Wow.
There you go. Too Bad. That's another Masters of the Universe guy.
Oh, and they got a
He can like punch himself in the face.
punching feature.
Evil Lyn.
Aha.
Masters of the Universe.
A lot of these don't stand well anymore.
Yeah. Tila. From Masters of the Universe also.
A penguin.
Ooh, the Penguin. That's probably from Superpowers. Could be from... a lot of the Superpowers guys got sort of reissued later by Toy Biz when the Batman '89 movie came out. And so some of them are pretty similar. So I'm not sure which version that one is.
He seems in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
He's got a little scuffing on his big
Happens
belly
a
there.
lot, yeah. So that's a wear point for sure. King Randor. Excellent. That's another Masters of the Universe figure.
He's a little tacky.
Oh, is he? That
Yep,
happens
and
sometimes.
His nose is a little scuffed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Prince Adam. Oh, a little Lion-O.
little Lion-O
There you
figure.
go.
And obviously none of the Actually, there might be accessories.
There might
at
be
the bottom
accessories in the
there.
bottom of that bin. Ooh, the Tuscan Warrior. That's a Thundercats figure.
Oh, here we go.
Another Comet Warrior. So you got a duplicate of somebody.
I think those two are the same.
Okay.
And then this is the other one.
There you go. Mini Chitara.
She won't stand. Oh,
Moss Man.
he is very, very dirty. And
Yeah,
I think
he's-
some of his fur is coming off.
He's a little gross. This tends to happen to Moss Man. He's good at attracting lint.
Not sure what this is.
Whoa, I don't even know either.
She's got like rocket legs.
Yeah, that's really bizarre. So she's got rooted hair, some articulation, but yeah, her feet look like she forms a rocket. This toy line, I have no idea.
I think I found my boy's legs.
There you go, Tongue Lasher's legs. Made in Hong Kong, that's all the info I got on this figure. I don't know. Vulture Man, that's another Thundercats mini figure. That's the headdress from Mumra. Yeah.
So we got some accessories sitting at the bottom here.
There you go, Monkey Inn, another one of the mini Thundercats.
There.
So that's one of the Rock Guy's weapons that can plug into the chest or be held in the hand.
Ooh. Oh, I see. It has.
Yeah, it's got like a peg in the center.
I guess that's the place you'd want to put it when you want to turn them into.
Yep, so that way you can hide it while they're transformed.
Haha.
Here you go. It's a little ray gun. That's a mask figure. That's Miles Mayhem, the bad guy.
Wow. This might have been mine because I had a bunch of mask figures that
Okay.
I don't know where they went. That is Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it is a Beetlejuice head
One of his heads.
from the Shish Kebab
And then I think
one.
it's a bunch of accessories here. Some sort of bracelet. Oh, we have a Batman chest plate for
this
something.
is for the quick change Bruce Wayne. Yeah, you can slap on some armor and turn him into Batman.
And so we have...
That's the Tuscan Warrior. That's the Walrus Man's gun.
Aha.
That was reused as a weapon from a Dune figure from the Dune toy line. If you saw that Farpoint episode.
Then we have... looks like glow in the dark.
That's glow in the dark sword. That would go to the hologram guy, the supernatural. He's like a Black Knight.
And then we have...
That's He-Man's power sword.
Power sword.
There we go. By the power of Grayskull.
And I like that it didn't snap in. It like wraps around his hand like that.
It's such an interesting design. And then Skeletor, if you wanted him to hold his sword and his staff, you had to just kind of like stick his fingers through, which is a weird way of having a figure hold an accessory. But they were
try sword fighting with your hand like that, holding a sword.
There we go.
All right,
quite a collection.
That is the magical bag of Thundercats.
That's awesome. Thanks for bringing all this stuff on to share.
Yeah, it was...
this is a really fun collection. What a variety. Like, you know, there's 80s, there's 90s, and late 90s even, too, with the Toy Story stuff. So it's a really nice mix of things. So
it was a fun trip down memory lane.
Now you know a little bit more of what you have here.
Yep.
And now your parents' attic is cleaned out, which is the goal there.
Indeed.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging on the peg with us.
They're playing like Felicia versus Bishamon, and if Bishamon ends with a certain move, you just cut Felicia in half.
Did you make sure to see Orchid's thong? Here's 30 more chances as she spins around.
See, you've got the Batgirl shirt on, and you're wearing a Robin t-shirt.
Batgirl and Robin to your Batman.
And Turtles is like Star Wars in the, like, Star Wars is a 70s thing that ran into the 80s. Turtles started in the 80s, but really grew in the 90s.